Hey everybody, Manitoba Hal here, and today in our video we're going to talk a little bit about finger picking and how you can use that to improve your playing, or at least make it seem like you're a better musician than maybe you are. Now I don't mean to suggest that finger pickers are all faking it or that you should fake it, but here's the thing. If all you're ever doing is this, your playing can get kind of repetitive. Now, if I turn around and I'm finger picking this, much more pretty, you know, and it makes it seem like more is going on. But you'll notice that my strumming hand, or not my strumming hand, pardon me, my fretting hand is not doing anything more than if I were just strumming up and down. Of course, the combination of them is really nice for making a sound. You know, like you got your chorus where it's nice and big and strumming, and you get to the verse and it's Now, of course, I'm using my baritone resonator guitar. This was made by Mark Rogers in Ottawa. It's a Canadian. It's my favorite ukulele right now. And but you can do this with any ukulele you have. So what I was just playing there is C, G, D7, G. That was the progression that I was playing with. You could use any combination of chords, because really what we're going to be focusing on is your strumming hand. Now, what I want to suggest is that you get a metronome, because this will really help you in the beginning. But the trick to finger picking successfully, there's two of them really. One is you need to memorize which string will be picked by which finger. If you're constantly changing which finger hits which string, you're going to spend a lot of time thinking about what your pattern is. And really what you want to do is just train your hand to always work. Now, the way I work is my thumb always works the 4th string and or the 3rd string, depending on the pattern I'm playing. So if it's a simple arpeggio, it just works the 4th string. But if it's an alternating pattern, it goes back and forth between the 4th and the 3rd. My index finger always works the 3rd string in an arpeggio. So if I'm doing something like that, it gets involved like that. My middle finger always works the 2nd string, and my ring finger always works the 1st string. So no matter what I'm doing, those fingers are occupied. So you'll notice that it's my little finger's the only one not doing anything. Traditional classical finger pickers will tell you to anchor your pinky and then use your hand like that. This is a fine technique if you can manage it. I've never been able to. I always just lay my hand down on my bridge. In this case, it's the metal bridge plate of the resonator, so I'm not actually touching the strings. But that's one thing you want to do. Now, here's the trick. So start with a simple arpeggio, because that's the easiest thing to do. So what you want to do is get your metronome going with a constant tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then on each beat, pick one string. So start with thumb, finger, ring, thumb, index, middle, ring, thumb, middle, index, ring. And you want to do this over and over again until you can carry on a conversation, always matching the tempo. And that's the important thing, because you're training your fingers to work in order. At the beginning, you're going to think about this a lot, but it gets very easy after a while. Once you can comfortably do this, start reversing it as you go up. So here we go, all the way up, back down. Now I'm muting here because I don't need a chord to show this off. It's really not about those chords, it's just about what my hand does. Now, if you want to get into an alternating patterns, once you're comfortable with arpeggiating, start doing just simply back and forth. Now what I'm doing here is my thumb is going back and forth. Now the trick with the alternating is you want your thumb to always be alternating, always going back and forth, just like this. Now, you'll notice that on the off beats, in between that, I'm picking a different string. So when I hit the low string, I'm picking the first string in between, and then I pick the second string in between, going back up. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And I'll slow that down. 1 and 2 and 4. And with alternating, you don't change that pattern at all. Well, generally you don't. I think ultimately, when you get into fingerpicking, you'll start emphasizing different strings based on a melody that you're trying to play. So you might do something like get those extra pushes out where all I'm doing is grabbing a pinch with 2 notes instead of just all straight alternating. And there you go. Now just practice that over and over again. Get a metronome. It makes all the difference to that sound of it if your hand is consistent, and it has to be consistent. So thank you. Enjoy yourselves. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. And if you have any questions, as always, post them and I will respond. Thank you. Hey everybody, thanks for watching my video on fingerpicking. I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, please comment down below, ask any questions or make your recommendations and suggestions, and I'll get to it as soon as I can. I also want to send out a special thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Thank you for keeping these videos free for everybody. Now, if you haven't heard of Patreon, follow the link below and you'll find out all about it. Essentially what it is a patronage system, a subscription system where you pay me as little as $1 per video, and that helps me keep these videos free for everybody. And in exchange for that money, you get behind the scenes content, tours of festival sites, of gigs that I'm doing that no one else sees. So it's very special stuff for you, and the odd tutorial as well that is aimed specifically at my Patreon supporters. If that doesn't interest you, fine. These videos will continue to be free, and thank you for your support. If it interests you, I encourage you to take a look at it and spend a little time with me. That way, join the family. Anyway, we'll see you in a couple weeks. Thanks.